Today we will discuss about the parotid gland. It is the type of salivary gland. There are three salivary glands inside the head and neck. Mainly the parotid gland. It is comparatively larger. One is the submandibular gland below to the mandible, and third one is the sublingual, which lies below to the tongue. So there are three glands, and it is a pair gland. Parotid, which lies on the besides of the ear, and the submandibular below to the mandible, sublingual below to the tongue, and secretion of all these glands help to keep the oral cavity moist and begin the process of the digestion. Here I will show you the parotid gland, and over the dissection here you can see we have reflected the skin, superficial fascia, and the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. You can see this is a pyramid in shape, and the apex which lies on the downside, and the base which is on the upsides. And the parotid gland have here you can see it has a three border. This is the anterior border, this is the posterior border, and this is the medial border. And it divide into the anteromedial surface, posteromedial surface. It has a superior surface, or it is called the base, and superficial surface, and it has a apex of the parotid gland. So the parotid gland, it is the largest of the three pair of the salivary gland located inside the parotid bed. And the parotid gland, it is pyramidal shape, apex it is downwards, and weight in nearly 25 grams. And the facial nerve which passes, here you can see there is a facial nerve. There are 5 branches of the facial nerve. The facial nerve, it divides the parotid gland into the two parts, at the isthmus, superficial part and deep part. And here you can see these are the branches of the facial nerve. At the apex, here you can see there is a cervical branch, and also there is a retromandibular vein. Here you can see this is a facial vein, and this is a retromandibular vein. Here some variation. Normally the facial vein and the anterior division of the retromandibular united, and it makes the common facial, and it is open inside the interjugular vein. But here the facial vein which is united. But in our body, here in this body, normally this facial vein, anterior division of the retromandibular united, and it makes the common facial, and it open inside the interjugular vein. But in this body there is some variation. This common facial, this is a retromandibular. Here you can see these are the division. This is a posterior auricular, and this is the retromandibular vein. Normally retromandibular vein which is divide, but here the posterior auricular vein, it is directly combined. All three veins combine, and it makes the extrajugular vein. So the first branch, it is the cervical. Here you can see this is the cervical branch. This cervical branch, this is a marginal mandibular. Now this is the lower buccal. This is the masseter muscles, and here you can see this is the parotid duct. This is the parotid duct which goes down forwards over the masseter muscles. Above to it, this is the upper buccal. This is the upper buccal branch. This is the transverse facial vessels. This is the zygomatic branch, and this one is a temporal branch. So this nerves, the facial branches of the facial nerve, which divide the parotid gland into the two parts, superficial and deep parts. And the relations, now we will discuss. We already discussed it as a three border. Here you can see this is a anterior border, this is a posterior border, this is a medial border, this is a base or superior surface, this is a superficial surface, this is the anteromedial surface, this is a posteromedial surface, and this is the apex. Now I will show you over the dissection. Here you can see this is the anterior border. Here you can see this is the very anterior border. This is the apex. Here you can see this is the posterior border. I will elevate the posterior border, and this is the superior surface. Here you can see this is the ear. You can see just below to the tragus of the ear. This is the superior surface, and I elevate this surface between the anterior border and medial border. It is called the anteromedial surface. Between the posterior border and medial border, this is a posteromedial surface, and this is a superficial surface, and this is a superior surface. So the anteriorly it is bounded by the masseter muscles. Here you can see this is the masseter muscles, and here you can see over the lateral side there is it is covered by the masseter, and on the medial surface of the mandible, ramus of the mandible, there is a medial pterygoid muscles. So it is related anteriorly. It is related with the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible, masseter, and medial pterygoid muscles. The posteriorly it is related with the mastoid process. Here you can see, and there is an attachment of the two muscles, sternocleidomastoid muscles, laterally. Here you can see this is the posteriorly, this is the posterior side, this is the mastoid process, and this is the sternocleidomastoid muscles. The superiorly it is related with the external acoustic meatus. Here you can see this is the external acoustic meatus. My thumb, it is a level of the external acoustic meatus, and the posterior part of the TM joint. Here you can see this is a TM joint. So the TM joint, and there is a external acoustic meatus, which is the superior relations of the parotid gland, and inferiorly it is related with the posterior belly of the digastric. Here you can see this is I have not dissected, but here at that level there is a posterior belly of the digastric, because here there is an anterior belly of digastric, and deeply the posterior belly of digastric. We have not right dissected because of the superficial structure. And medially there is here you can see medially this is the styloid process over the, and three muscles which is attached to the styloid process: styloglossus, stylopharyngeus, and stylohyoid. And these are the relations on the medial side of the parotid glands. Now we will discuss the apex. Here you can see this is the apex of the parotid gland. Two things here you can see at the apex level. There is a cervical branch of the facial nerve, and there is a retromandibular veins, and formations of the just below to it there is a external jugular vein. So this is at the apex, which is over the apex, which is lies over the posterior belly of the digastric, and posterior belly of the digastric, and the superior surface, or this is called the base of the parotid gland. It is concave and related with the external acoustic meatus. And you can see this is the temporal branch. This is a superficial temporal vessels, and here you can see this is a nerve. This is the auriculotemporal nerve. This is the auriculotemporal nerve. This auriculotemporal nerve, it is the branch of the posterior division of the mandibular nerve, emerge at the TM joint behind to the parotid gland and TM joint, and just behind to the superficial temporal vessels, and it supplies to the skin over the auricle, external acoustic meatus, and scalp of the temporal region. So this is the relation of the superior surface. Superior surface, it is a temporal branch of the facial nerve, superficial temporal vessels, and auriculotemporal nerve. Now we will discuss the superficial surface. It is a larger surface, or it is called the lateral surface. It is covered by the skin, superficial fascia, and investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. And here you can see there is a lymph node. It is a parotid lymph nodes. So, and also the part of the platysma, we have cut the platysma muscles. So this is the platysma muscles we have cut. So the superficial surface, which is related with the skin, superficial fascia, investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, and the parotid lymph node, and there is a platysma muscles. The anteromedial surface, here you can see there is a this is the anteromedial surface between the anterior border and medial border, and it is related with the masseter, ramus of the mandible, and medial pterygoid muscles, and also lateral surface of the TM joint. Lateral surface of the TM joint. So this is the relations of the anteromedial surface. This is the anteromedial surface which is related with the, here there is a masseter, then ramus of the mandible, and on the medial aspect medial pterygoid muscles, and lateral aspect of the TM joint which is related with the anteromedial surface, and the branches of the facial nerve which is emerging from the anteromedial surface. Here the marginal mandibular, because it is over the margin of the mandible. Here you can see this is a nerve. This is the over the masseter. This is a lower buccal. This is a parotid duct, and these are the part. It is between the parotid duct and zygomatic arch. It is called the accessory parotid gland. Here this is the upper buccal, and this is the transverse facial artery. It is a branch of the superficial temporal artery, and this is the zygomatic nerve. So these are the structure which is emerging from the anteromedial as well as anterior border of the parotid glands. Now the posteromedial surface, here this is a posteromedial surface. It is the molded on the mastoid process, over the mastoid and styloid process, and it is related with the sternocleidomastoid. Here you can see this is a sternocleidomastoid muscles, and deeply there is a posterior belly of digastric. We have not right now dissected the styloid process, and group of the muscles which is attached to the styloid process are the styloglossus, styropharyngeus, and stylohyoid, which is deeply related. And also there is an interjugular vein, and last four cranial nerve, it is the glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory, and hypoglossal nerve, which is lies deep to the posteromedial surface, but we have not dissected right now. So, and the external carotid artery. So these are the structure which are related on the posteromedial surface. Now the anterior border which is lies between the superficial surface and anteromedial surface, and we already discussed all these branches of the facial nerve which is emerging from the anterior border. So mostly the marginal, lower buccal, parotid duct, upper buccal, temporal, all these zygomatic, all these branches which is emerging from the anterior borders. Posterior border, it is related with the posterior auricular vessels and nerve. Here you can see this is a posterior auricular artery, and this is a posterior auricular nerve, and here this is the posterior auricular vein. This is the part of the vein which is slightly tear because it is very delicate. This is a posterior auricular vein. So posterior border, it is related with the three structure: posterior auricular artery, this is a nerve, and this is the vein. And posterior auricular nerve, basically it supplies to the occipital bellies. It supplies here at the occipital bellies and the auricular posterior muscles. The medial border, it is difficult to here to show you, so it is separates the anteromedial surface and posteromedial surface, which is and it is related with the pharynx. On the medial aspect there is a pharynx which is passed. So this is about to the medial border, and we already discussed the accessory parotid gland. This is the accessory parotid gland, overlap the masseter, and it is the extension between the zygomatic arch and parotid duct. This is the parotid duct and zygomatic arch. In between there is extension of the parotid gland. It is the accessory parotid glands. So some extension of the parotid gland facial process, it is the present over the masseter. Present over the masseter, it is called the facial process of the parotid glands. pterygoid process between the ramus of the mandible and medial pterygoid. It is the inner side. There is a extensor between the medial pterygoid and ramus of the mandible. It is the pterygoid process of the parotid gland. Glenoid process lies between the external acoustic meatus and TM joint. In between there is a extension of the parotid gland. It is a glenoid extension or glenoid process of the parotid gland. Pre and post styloid process. Anteriorly and posteriorly there is extension of the parotid gland. It is the pre and post styloid process of the parotid gland. Covering of the parotid gland, there are two covering. False covering, which is formed by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. It is the top fascia. And the true capsule, it is the condensation of the fibrous tissue of the parotid gland. It is the true capsule. So there are two covering. False covering, it is formed by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. We have got it. And the true capsule, which is covered by the condensation of the fibrous tissue of the parotid gland. Another thing, structure present within the parotid gland are the superficial to deep. One is the facial nerve. We already discussed. It has 5 branches of the facial nerve. So facial nerve and branches of the facial nerve. Deep to it there is a retromandibular vein, and deep to it there is a external carotid artery. So superficial to deep, there are 3 structures inside the parotid gland: the facial nerve and its branches, retromandibular vein, and deep to it there is a external carotid artery. And the facial nerve basically divide into the 2 main trunk. One is the temporofacial, and it gives the zygomatic and temporal branch, and another it is called the cervicofacial. It gives the buccal branches, upper and lower buccal branches, mandibular branches, and here you can see there is a cervical branch of the facial nerve. Here you can see this is the cervical branch of the facial nerve. So this is the cervical branch of the facial nerve which supplies to the platysma muscles. So all these branches of facial nerve, which is basically in their territory, it supplies to the muscles of the face. You have to remember. Last one is the structure of the parotid gland. Histological, it is a compound tubuloalveolar glands, and it is a acini lined by the mucinous cells, and this is the basic structure of the parotid glands. The parotid duct, it is the 5 mm in long. Here you can see this is the parotid duct. It is emerged from the anterior border on the middle part. It covers to the masseter muscles, and just anterior to the masseter it pierces to the 4 things: buccal pad of fats, then buccopharyngeal fascia, buccinator muscles, and buccal mucosa, and then it opens inside the vestibule of the mouth opposite to the upper second molar tooth. It is the opening of the parotid duct. Arterial supply, it is the arterial supply of the parotid gland by the branches of the external carotid artery, and venous drainage by the vein drain inside the external jugular vein, mainly the this is the external jugular vein. And the lymphatic, it is the superficial parotid lymph node and deep parotid lymph node. Ultimately it is drained into the deep cervical lymph node. So now supply of the parotid gland by the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Parasympathetic, which is coming from the inferior cervical ganglion, it gives the branches coming with the along with the glossopharyngeal nerve. It gives the tympanic branches, and it makes the tympanic plexus. Then it gives a lesser petrosal nerve, the fiber which is along lesser petrosal nerve, and it is relay inside the otic ganglion. And the postganglionic fiber through the auriculotemporal nerve, which is the secretomotor, and it is supplies to the parotid glands. So it is the secretomotor in nature. Here the sympathetic also, which is derived from the around to the external carotid artery, which is formed by the postganglionic fiber, which is coming from the superior cervical ganglion. So the postganglionic fiber, this is the cervical sympathetic ganglion, and from the superior cervical sympathetic ganglion, the fiber along with the external carotid artery, and it is also a sympathetic in nature, sympathetic, and it is the secretomotor, but it sticky secretions which is by the sympathetic plexus, and it is also vasomotor in relation, and sensory nerve supply by the auriculotemporal nerve and the great auricular nerve and C2 fiber of the parotid fascia. Clinical aspect of the parotid glands, it is the mumps, it is the viral infection, and it is a affinity specially for the parotid gland and result in swollen, and it is very painful. Pain is severe as the gland is surrounded by the top capsule, and mastication is also painful due to the inflammations of the glenoid process of the parotid gland. So mumps, it is the self-limiting and required only supportive care. And the another thing, it is a parotid abscess. Whenever there is an infection of the parotid gland, generally it is the consequence of the retrograde bacterial infection from the mouth through the parotid duct. So the infection of the mouth, which is retrograde through the parotid duct, and it is comes inside the parotid glands. At that time, you have to take the keep in mind, always keep the incision transversely, because if you keep vertical incision, there is a facial nerve which is damaged. So you have to keep the incision transversely. So this is about to the parotid gland. Hope you enjoy the lecture of the parotid gland. Thank you.